Really tight.
Holy crap. Hey, Awesome Con.
Don't do it.
Do it.
You're going to do the whole "Are you ready" thing, aren't you? Yeah, you are.
Do it. No, I'm not.
Do it. Okay.
Awesome Con, are you ready? I don't know. That didn't feel right. I mean, it's been 2 years since we've been able to commingle together. It's been 2 years since we've been on stage together. It's been 2 years since we've been able to hear what you have to say about wrestling and disagree with every single thing that you say about it. Yeah, that's mainly him. Be ready for some unpopular opinions. It's been 2 damn years and it's been too damn long. I said, Awesome Con, are you ready? That's a little better.
I've heard bigger pops at a circus show.
Speaking about circus.
When we begin. WWE's hiring policy right now? So, we've decided, the format that this usually takes is Mike and I start talking and then we get you guys involved and see what you want to talk about. But we figured with what happened last night, we know what the first thing everyone's going to want to talk about is.
Something happened last night?
He's back! How does everybody feel about CM Punk? Yeah. I am very worried. Forget about his match against Darby. There is no good result for that match. CM Punk loses, he loses on his comeback. Darby loses, then his whole shtick of I can be beaten by 17 light tubes and still get up in the morning is done. Yeah, I don't know, maybe they do something with Sting. I don't know. But it's just a really weird first feud, you know what I mean? Like, especially if you consider that especially this match is in Chicago, right? So unless because they're not turning Punk heel in Chicago. Unless they turn Darby heel, it's a face versus face matchup, which is really weird for the first time.
What if it turns Sting and Darby heel?
I mean, if they can do it, more power to them.
I mean, it would be easier than turning Punk heel in Chicago.
Say that again?
It would be easier than turning CM Punk heel in Chicago.
Oh, I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just saying, given some of their previous attempts at heel turns, it's not gone exactly brilliantly, has it?
And not only that, but if you looked at the promo that CM Punk cut last night, there's no turning back on a face run right now for Punk right now. At least the initial start of his run. So it would be Darby West.
It's in Chicago.
They could almost do the same thing they did when Alex was Foley at the beginning, they could have the run to withdraw, everybody can come in, at on the same level. It's pretty much what they want to do.
The problem with that is, and I'm gonna be honest here, after 7 years away from the ring, Punk needs to win.
I don't think
In Chicago.
this isn't the feud though. This is just the build up in and back here. This is not, they only have
Oh,
2 weeks to build.
absolutely.
Like, this isn't the feud. Something's gonna happen. Someone's gonna interfere. It's gonna start the feud. It's really gonna be.
Yeah.
And then done. When we come back, right? And you get your best friends in Chicago.
Yeah.
And that feud leads to something. But this isn't the feud. This is just the build up.
It's just the match itself kind of worries me.
What if you did something like, thank you all, you thank me for coming back and doing like a Seth Rollins, but everyone should thank him for being the face of wrestling.
I mean, they can do that.
That would turn him heel.
The issue is,
Darby.
it's in Chicago.
Like here's the thing.
Did you hear the pop last night?
Yeah, like that pop that Punk's gonna have coming into the arena for where's Dynamite? Cincinnati?
No, last night it was.
No, last night was in Chicago.
Yeah. Dynamite this week is in Texas somewhere.
Milwaukee? Okay, so Milwaukee, which is close to Chicago, you're gonna get the exact same pop for CM Punk. And then that very Saturday or Sunday for All Out, you're gonna get that exact same pop you got last night. The only way that he could go heel, maybe in Chicago, is if, say MJF comes out to interfere, but instead of going after CM Punk, he goes after Darby, and they align.
Unless he like literally stabs Cody's baby live on the paper.
I don't even think that'd be enough.
I don't think that loss is gonna hurt Darby, honestly.
No, I'm not saying it will hurt Darby. I'm just saying, and I'm a bit outspoken on this. I don't like Darby's gimmick. The whole I can get beaten up the whole match and still win. It's really unique when you see it like once a month, but when you see it every single week, it gets really old really quickly. And it would be a good catalyst for Darby to start changing that gimmick. It's just, I don't know. I just think they could have a better first match for Punk.
Although I will admit they did the smart thing last night, because you and I, we talked about this when Kenny Omega won the AEW title, and they said that it was going to be on Impact. And if you look at the Twitch chat for Impact, all it was give us Omega, give us Omega, give us Omega, give us Omega. We don't care about what you guys offer for professional wrestling, just give us
Which
Omega.
is wrong, because Impact is some of the best wrestling on TV right now.
But they did
Josh Alexander, that's all I've got to say.
But they did the right thing though, by just having Punk come out first. Because if they saved him for the very end of Rampage last night,
Oh,
it
yeah.
would have been a hijacking.
All night we've just been CM Punk shows.
Yeah, so I would say, I can think Darby Allin is like the perfect choice for this person. Because you need somebody who's like, that matters. You can't just put him against like, one of the jobbers from Dark. You gotta be somebody that matters. You gotta be somebody who will do it. And it needs to be somebody that like, you don't wanna give away with your big like Punk rematches right off the bat. And you need somebody that won't be hurt by loss. Like Darby's perfect. He's somebody that matters. He's somebody that everybody cares about. He's somebody that will give Punk a really good match, and he won't hurt him at all. He won't run with him nothing on loss. Because you gotta have Punk in this first match.
But not only that, but piggyback off of that, maybe that could be what you just said, and that could be the thing that can change his gimmick a little bit.
Yeah.
You had your hand up right over there.
I agree with him, but Darby's speed isn't a hard challenge for him. Like if he goes in and fights Kenny Omega straight off the bat, that speed difference that Punk hasn't wrestled for so long. Darby doesn't wrestle at fast pace kind of wrestling. He might take more bumps, but other than that, that's a nice speed for him where he can get back into the swing of it.
And not only that, but one thing that a lot of people were forgetting as well, CM Punk is on this show called Heels, and he's actually been working in the ring a lot. And it actually came out that for apparently the last year and a half or maybe 2 years, he'd actually been training at Pro Wrestling Tees because they actually have a ring set up in their facility where he could take bumps and actually work off ring rust. So who knows? Maybe Darby was one of those guys that he's working with.
Yeah, maybe.
So we're actually going to see there's going to be ring rust, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's nerves because it's like your first time wrestling in 7+ years. But we're going to have a CM Punk who's going to be a little bit more polished than say like somebody like Edge, who was all for like 9 years, and his first thing that he did was a Royal Rumble before he actually did a match, which albeit was also pre-taped.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just glad to have him back. Let's be honest. Are the kids in here? Okay. He said a quote. Yeah, no, Bob, don't worry. He said a quote on Twitter that wrestling needs a kick in the dick, right? And he is that, right? Like the WWE needs to start paying attention. Like they're a little competition. Soon they're gonna have Punk and Danielson, and they're gonna have Omega and Hangman, and who knows who else.
And apparently there's been reading this morning that Tony Khan has another big name signed, or is going to sign, and with the rumors, it could be Adam Cole.
Yeah, Adam Cole,
It could be Adam Cole.
Brian Danielson.
Ray Wyatt.
Yeah. when you more time. Say
I
that?
thought they said that Brian had one.
So the Arthur Ashe show in I think it's Queens, New York, that tennis stadium place, that's the plan for Daniel Bryan Stadium because they don't want to have too much at All Out. Apparently they have enough stuff planned out that it's supposed to end at All Out, and then after they're done with All Out, they're moving on to
Do you want to see Adam Cole go to AEW? Yeah.
Yeah, all the elite people, Finn, Kevin Owens, and Adam Cole, and Sami Zayn all the good.
So what you want to do is you just want to create WCW Light.
No, you want to create Ring of Honor circa like 2015.
You want the entire roster to be people of the same type of wrestling style.
It already has happened with AEW.
My problem with Adam Cole going to AEW, sorry, my problem with Adam Cole not going elsewhere is these rumor changes of NXT. Because he's not going to get over on the main roster because Vince won't let him. And I'd rather he go somewhere where he can absolutely flourish. Because he's not lying when he says he's been the best thing about NXT for like 4 years. I mean, he's just not lying. So, I don't know. Yeah.
I was gonna say exactly what you just said in your question. It wasn't so much that I wanna see him in AEW. He will never reach his potential staying in NXT or going to SmackDown or Raw in WWE. He's gonna be better suited to reach that top pinnacle beyond where he is now in a place in AEW that's gonna respect, I think, his skills and his ability.
I just want to see him and Omega in the ring.
Well, how good at Impact?
I mean, Adam Cole in the X Division,
Yeah,
sign me up.
yeah. I mean, they already have, AEW's already signed or allegedly signed already a lot of former WWE people.
Well, I mean, look at
With Miro.
look at their roster. Like you just said, Miro, Sean Spears. He was the shiny penny. Ty Dillinger with the whole perfect 10. Which
John
Dave-
Moxley,
Moxley.
Who?
Dean Ambrose,
Yeah,
Jack Swagger.
But like
Jake Hager.
Big Show and Mark Henry are there now. You know, Christian is there.
Jake
Like
Hager, Chris Jericho.
it's like it's why I made the WCW light joke because that's essentially what WCW did. You know, back in the day, and I remember yesterday who was actually at Lee Sanders' panel yesterday. All right, cool. So you know what I'm about to go on to, and it's the fact that Tony Khan, when he sees a new WWE release, is like, ooh, a shiny new toy. Come. It's like you have to calm it down a little bit. And, there are guys who I want to see just like him in Impact. That would be really good for them. What?
There's no way they can use all those people to their closest state. They just don't have the team.
It's why AEW Dark has like 14 matches a card.
But
Like,
WWE
let's be honest. I'm already calling it right now. Like everyone, I think AEW put out a tweet. It's like, oh, when can Cody come back? Oh, don't worry, Cody's coming back. He needs to marry Malachi Black, just like how he's married everyone else except for him.
You say that, but their first match didn't go that way, did it?
Oh, sorry.
No, Malachi Black.
Well, no, but that's the thing. He needs to come back.
Yeah, like
Get married again.
Yeah.
Brody killed him, he came back, and
Yeah.
beat him.
Yeah.
Got done.
Came back with black hair.
You know, they need to make Rampage 2 hours instead of just 1.
That's on the network. That's absolutely on the network.
And
I feel like in 2022, Rampage is 2 hours.
Okay.
yeah.
But think about it, right? You've got Dynamite, which is 2 hours, Dark, which is 3, and Elevation, which is 2, and Rampage now, which is an hour. So technically, they're putting together more primetime TV than WWE are right now.
And not only that, but also you got to keep in mind for Dynamite and Rampage, they're also going to be moving to TBS.
No, that's just
That's just, Dark.
Rampage is
Dynamite.
Okay, because, and here's the thing, how many of you actually legitimately think there was a Wednesday Night War in AEW won? That actually surprised me.
Exactly.
Well, there are, obviously with the internet wrestling community, they all believe that AEW won, yeah, and actually, as we've been hearing about the NXT rumors about the changes and stuff like that, it's because apparently John Laurinaitis and Chris Pritchard are going into Vince's ear saying that Triple H failed.
It's only a war if both sides are fighting.
And here's the thing. So who actually knows the real reason why NXT moved to Tuesday nights?
The NHL.
NHL.
because here's the thing that a lot of people don't know.
The NHL screwed my group by God.
Exactly, because so here's the thing, like obviously as my tattoo show, I'm a diehard Caps fan, but the NHL had the contract to NBC. NBC Sports Network is going to be gone by the end of this year.
Dang.
All of their sports content is moving to USA Network. At the time, they thought that they were still gonna have the NHL come the start of the season, which meant they were gonna have Wednesday night hockey on USA Network.
We get the point, Mike, move on.
But
This is
get
a
ready,
wrestling-
get
this is a wrestling panel.
I
not
know,
an NHL.
but the point is that Turner came in and then they flipped everything around. And, good luck for Dynamite's first episode on TBS because they're going up against the Washington Capitals and the New York Rangers.
Yeah, because they two things really cross over.
Well, keep in mind,
I don't
they,
want to watch it.
well, keep in mind, well, I have other reasons, but keep in mind though, when we saw NXT go to sci-fi, they got hurt badly by the ratings. When Dynamite had to move around, their ratings plummeted as a result of their move around. So TBS's first ratings of Dynamite may not be as strong as a lot of people think because
Right, but half the reason Dynamite's ranked plummeted is because it went later in the night, it went to 10 p.m.
so, and I think they also did it with the night changes just because of the NBA playoffs. So, and that's something that they're gonna have a lot more problems with in the future now too, that they're gonna have to deal with.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Is Vince selling or what?
Is Vince selling?
Yeah, is Vince
I say
selling?
To quote Nick Khan earlier this week,
Yep.
we're always open for offers.
Vince has said that same thing for years, though.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
do you think that he will actually sell? Is that why he's letting
I
those?
could give less of a care. If he does, cool, maybe the show can get better. If he doesn't, I'm not watching anyway right now. So,
That's a big deal.
like the only WWE content I'm watching right now is NXT, and if all these changes go through that they're talking about, I'll check out of that too. Like, and I'm a die-hard NXT fan, like I've been watching since day one, even when it was back when it was like, these two people, here's a pro, here's a rookie, and then the next is happening, right? Like,
Back when it was essentially just a game show.
yeah, back when it was a game show.
Yes, that was I like the game show NXT.
Oh, man.
I don't know if you can really go back to game show NXT now.
No.
That's what you make, that's what you turn TakeOver into. But,
I am very worried about NXT after TakeOver. At least Karen Cross was gone.
NXT Taboo Tuesday.
but we're okay with some other.
Right, well, I'm okay with that rather than Karen Cross. First time three-time NXT champion, the man came back to get fired. Like, I'm NXT champion! Woohoo!
We'll see, no, with Vince, see, here's the thing, a lot of the releases outside of the NXT 13 that happened recently, those were all Nick Khan. They weren't Vince.
Vince comes up with the initial list.
What if Keith Lee got released?
But then he still has to get final approval on what they're cutting. But the thing is though, is that most of the meetings though, Vince is never involved in. I don't buy that Vince gives him a list. I feel because, especially if Vince would have told Triple H on certain things.
You heard about why Karrion Cross lost when he debuted on Raw, right?
One was,
The legit reason was so Vince could put NXT in his place. That's the shit reason. You think Vince is going to tell the place he's firing talent? Vince doesn't care about NXT. Especially when it's the only good thing they're putting out right now, except Roman Reigns.
and before injury, Bailey.
Yeah, you say that. She was in the Sasha Fierce.
Well,
This is what it is.
yeah, but too long, agreed, but Bailey completely made herself.
Bailey absolutely carried the early parts of the lockdown era. She absolutely carried.
Do you think that the CM Punk stuff has an impact on Vince and the WWE? Do you think
There
they're
is
like
no
tired?
way they can't wake up and smell coffee right now. After that reaction last night, there is no way they can't pay.
Does SummerSlam change at all based on what happened last night?
Well, there's
I
gonna be
think
one
it's-
change already, and that's actually, apparently the city officials of Las Vegas have told WWE that they need to shorten the pay-per-view because of the Manny Pacquiao fight tonight. Yeah, they told him you have to be done by 11 o'clock. Like, they actually put a hard time on them.
Wow.
So they can't go to like midnight or
But
whatever.
Punk himself, I don't
Is that
think
true?
is going to change Vince's plans. Vince is a bit too hard-headed that way. Vince may just, I don't know, get bored and throw a dart or decide to change it, but it won't be because of CM Punk. It should be because of CM Punk.
Actually, I think the thing that it would be, maybe it won't be CM Punk, maybe it won't be Daniel Bryan, but Adam Cole. Because Vince wants to keep Adam Cole, and actually the one thing Adam Cole did say recently was he was doing a Twitch stream, and he was saying, hey, I don't want to lose this. And that could be a negotiating tactic that Adam Cole uses. It's like, yeah, I want to be, you want to give me this push, and they're already coming with storyline ideas and stuff like that, they're pushing and everything. This is the one thing I want to keep, and it being Twitch. Because he, like, that's the thing, a lot of these guys built these communities during the pandemic.
Yeah. I just don't think that if it was anyone but Vince, I think they'd pay attention and change something. I don't think Vince himself is
Who's the next big return for the WWE to combat? Is it
Yeah,
The Rock?
no, it is The Rock. Rock is coming back because he's doing the 25th anniversary of his debut. It's
Yeah, do you have enough time between now and when The Rock comes back?
Yeah.
What's that?
I've heard the fall.
Yeah, fall is all we heard.
That's probably where it's gonna be because the draft is in October now, so I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, who knows, maybe they can make the very last pick be Becky Lynch.
I also heard that Brock Lesnar's coming back, and
Don't care.
it better not be.
Nobody cares about Brock Lesnar.
Nobody cares
If
about
Lesnar wants to come back, great. Let's just make him a jobber.
Keep him away from
Let's
the
just
title.
lock him and Bobby Lashley in a room. And let's go about enjoying the rest of wrestling.
Let him be the 24/7
Actually,
champ.
would you like to put Walter and Karrion Kross together?
Yes, please. Oh, wait, moving on.
Brock Lesnar versus Reigns with
Brock versus Roman, don't want to see it.
We don't need to see Brock versus Roman like what.
You now want to see that again.
But real quick,
No, it's actually Rocker is wrong.
you were saying something.
No.
Yes. No. I see him getting 17 because of what went down with Flair.
I thought Cena would win until Roman said about his own leave.
Yeah.
He said that.
What's up, Ryan?
I have a question from Twitch. Who will be the special request wrestlers for the Saudi show?
Yokozuna. They've already requested Legit, if you go back and watch the first Saudi show, there's a dude that comes down dressed as a sumo wrestler that nobody's ever heard of. And it's because the dude who runs the Saudi show went, oh, Yokozuna. He's dead? I don't care, bring Yokozuna. I don't know who the special request people in the Saudi show is going to be.
Well, you know, it's probably, they're probably going to request like.
Rowdy Roddy Piper, maybe? I don't know.
They're probably going to request like Undertaker. They might request Kane. They might secretly ask for anyone who's in AEW.
So at this point, CM Punk.
Yeah, exactly. You had your hand up. I'll go to you, Brian.
So, I heard that, Mark Roddy was supposed to be Kenny Omega, but that was changed, so to make it like.
So the story there is when they got to the venue and Kenny found out that Ric Flair was there, Kenny suggested dropping the title to Andrade via interference with Ric Flair. But Triple H went, no, we want you to keep the belt.
No, it was AEW. It was all keep the belt.
AEW had previously had an arrangement where he gets the belt, but were okay with him losing it due to interference. But Triple H went, no, you can keep the belt. Man in the shades.
Yeah, look, back on that story, excuse me, I think that the reason that AEW wanted Kenny Omega to, keep that AAA belt was because he had previously dropped the, Impact title to Christian earlier that week, and AEW said, we don't want you to make it look weak because of, Ric Flair and Andrade is gonna be there, so, you dropped the TNA title to, Christian that previous week, but I think
They didn't
essentially what you're saying is and this is the thing where I was sort of saying where AEW kind of came in, they didn't want Kenny Omega to drop too many belts too fast.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is they really wanted to keep it as long as he was doing like the belt collector gimmick. Once the plan with Christian Scott Moore went down, they were a little bit more relaxed on him dropping the Triple H title. Yeah. So. All right, so I think we've covered CM Punk. Anyone want to talk SummerSlam?
How many of the matches do you legitimately care about?
Absolutely none of them. Well, no, maybe you should have stayed at the Morris match. Now they tell us.
I actually care about Edge versus Seth.
Yep.
How many of you saw Edge get Brood last night? How cool was seeing a little nostalgia on that one?
Brood bath.
Bring the Brood back. That was an awesome Brood.
I will mark out if Edge, as part of his entrance, has a Brood-like entrance for his intro. That would be really cool.
I don't know, man. I don't care about either of the world title matches.
Yeah.
Don't give a
How many
flying
matches are
fuck
there?
about it.
I think it's way more than 8, isn't it?
No, don't care.
Well, apparently the SmackDown Women's title match may not happen tonight because Sasha is still apparently not clear.
I'm surprised when she's after that.
But then not only that, but also if Vegas telling them they have to cut down the show and actually make it 3 hours, that may also result in some other matches maybe being bumped to the pre-show. They might do an extra early pre-show now. What's up?
Do you think, Edge is at Raw, do you think that the Elias will be involved somehow as that and Becky?
No.
I don't know what Elias gimmick is now that he's killed Elias.
No. He was talking about the lives.
Oh,
I would say 100% no, because if Becky's coming back in the fall, like say as a draft pick, it would actually ruin Becky.
Also, Becky and Seth have both been on record saying they hated working together on TV, and they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So the card for SummerSlam is AJ Styles and Omos versus RK Bro.
I see RK Bro winning.
Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie.
Oh, which by the way, speaking of her, I know you put this distinction on me as
And you are Eva Marie's #1 fan, yes.
No. I unfortunately they're not here, but I want to shout out to our friends, the Big Gold Belt Media Group. They are now the official #1 fans of Eva Marie. If you look
Okay, so
at
you're now the president of the fan club.
No. They took all responsibilities 100% from me. I think Alexa Bliss is going to win because of Dewdrop.
Also, we'll come back to Dewdrop. I've got stuff to say about that. Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal in the battle for who controls 3-man band.
Even though it's just 2 at this point. Where's Slater?
He's currently recuperating from his torn groin in there. Sheamus versus Damian Priest. That could be a good match, maybe.
The US
I'd love to see Damian Priest because I've been watching him since his Punishment Martinez days, and he has grown a lot.
Edge versus Seth.
I see some interference.
Bianca versus Sasha.
Which may not happen.
If it happens.
The Usos versus the Mysterios. Again.
Nobody cares.
That's gotta be. I don't care about
And that's a
that.
kickoff show. I don't know how it doesn't say.
I don't care about that.
That's fine.
Bobby Lashley against Goldberg. So be aware that, like, I'm fully expecting this to be a match of the year candidate now that we're dropping on it.
I'm gonna tell you this, that is not a match, that is just a one-way ass whooping right there. Goldberg.
Before we move on to the last matches, there's
2 more matches.
2 more matches. Question for everybody. Who's been paying attention to what's been going on with Baron Corbin and Big E? Does Baron Corbin try to cash in?
Yes.
He'll try.
I actually want to see that happen and see where they take that, because I've actually been
absolutely loving the Baron.
I am loving Baron Corbin so much. Actually, somebody who actually had been watching, they were watching with us in the hotel last night, and I was explaining the whole Baron But that is actually one of the greatest things WWE is doing right now. They're like so impressed with it, so loving Baron Corbin.
Big Johnny Cena versus probably the best thing on the main roster right now, Roman Reigns.
I see interference from the Usos. I know. I see interference from Balor. I think at the end of the match, Balor comes out and costs Cena because of the fact that Cena just got title opportunity.
I can see one of the Usos.
And then we have-
Reigns, that way besides The Rock who comes back and they set up The Rock and Reigns.
They're not gonna do Rock and Reigns in Survivor Series.
They can do that, right?
Because
They're gonna book that.
So here's the thing, booking wise for Survivor Series, the talk is that it's gonna be an Uso with Reigns and an Uso with The Rock in a tag team match.
Yeah, and make that,
You know,
make the
they're
Rock
gonna
and Reigns one-on-one at WrestleMania.
If they do Rock versus Reigns at WrestleMania, it's gonna be about 2 years away. It's not gonna be next year, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be in
2020.
Hollywood.
It's gonna be in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, Baron
And
Corbin.
then the last match on the card, Rhea Ripley versus Little Miss Galway herself, Charlotte Flair, versus Nikki ASH.
I'm actually going for Nikki to win.
I'm absolutely pulling for Nikki to win, but they're going to bury it. They're going to bury it and kill the whole thing. Like,
And it just dropped.
seriously, if your name isn't Charlotte Flair or Rhea Ripley and you're on Raw, you've done that.
Yeah,
And it sucks.
yeah. Actually, I'm just reading, like, Asuka's been backstage, they just don't have anything for her, and that's a damn shame.
They're also letting her
Yeah, so.
That's all 10 matches in 3 hours, they have to be done in 11.
Oscar is good talent that's being wasted right now.
I wouldn't say he's being away from me. Right now, he's recovering from injury as well.
Like she did a lot during the pandemic era too.
She was working.
Like her and Bailey were really carrying the women's division for WWE during the pandemic. But you wanted to talk about Dewdrop.
I love me some Whiteman, right? I love me some Whiteman in it. I'm a fan of Harry since the WCW days. And all I want in wrestling is a little bit of internal inconsistency, right? When even Marie debuted and introduced Dewdrop, and the commentary team was sitting there going, and who is this? And I'm like, it's only the woman that's been in NXT UK for 3 years and participated in 2 made-up classics. She's been on your roster for 4 years. You should know who she is. Sorry, that's all.
The commentary team always slips up every so often.
No, they just say what they're told to say.
Speaking about the commentator group, how are you guys feeling about Jimmy Smith on Raw?
Better than ever.
He's actually done a good job.
You know, I've only listened to him a couple of times because I really follow Raw on Twitter. That's the only really way you can follow Raw at this point. And the stuff that I've heard him do, I've actually been pretty impressed with what he's done.
Like I said, it's better than ever.
But he's not better than Tom Phillips.
Yeah, anyone's better.
I miss him for this, man. They screwed him so
What do you
bad.
think of Pat McAfee on Saturday?
He's the best thing to happen, actually.
Yes.
I'm absolutely sorry. The first time that Shinsuke Nakamura came out with Red Boots.
Oh, yes.
And he's like, every time he might on his face. Everybody was like, oh, do it.
Last night when he
Best
jumped up,
thing I've ever seen.
last night when he jumped on the desk playing too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest Pat McAfee fan, but there are times when he's just right, but then there's other times where it's just kinda like,
He was born to be a wrestling commentator, I'm sorry.
I think with more time with Michael Cole, he will definitely be one of the best ones out there. It's just, right now for me, it's like, again, there's stuff like this Shinsuke Nakamura stuff, great stuff. But then there's maybe on certain types of matches, he's not really the strongest where he's at, and that's where he needs more of the coaching from Michael Cole in that regard.
When NXT, putting back to the future of NXT superstars, and why they want Rich wants a bigger, taller, faster guy.
Yeah, they want to take NXT back to like a developmental thing. So I think the quotes that was going around was like, no one over 30, no midgets, and only people that will make it on the
That's kind of hypocritical.
Which is also always a crapshoot when you're bringing people in for development.
Which they'll make up my roster if you book them properly. Right? Like,
Yeah.
But at the same time, there was just the Las Vegas tryouts, and about 13 people were offered contracts. We don't know who or anything like that, but Triple H was actually asked about the whole shift in what's going on, and Triple H was kind of like, there's really not a shift. We've always been developmental. Like, he's always viewed, like, yes, he always views it as a third brand, but he also never really lost the focus of it
right.
as
The
development.
difference being they did the development in the CWC and then put them on television. Now they want to put them on television to develop. What was your point, sir?
My point was basically like NXT became like their bank account, like how much they were paying wrestlers. It's way too much now than what they imagined it to be. So they had to cut back, go more developmental. Those checks are way smaller. You know, so what they're paying people to be on NXT is what they should be paying people on Raw.
The problem with that is then they go get paid somewhere else. So.
Yeah, but that's, you know, it's the.
Right, Kevin Nash, that.
Who's leaving NJPW, who's leaving Impact, and like.
You back there, sir.
Do you believe the excuse that WWE gave for releasing Bray Wyatt was a budget cut?
No, I think it was because of the stuff that's been coming out, and Freddie Prinze Jr. even said that him and Vince butted heads a lot, especially because Bray wanted to protect his character, which is, I'm 100% for somebody wanting to protect their character.
Bray wanted to let them creative control over what happened at the theme of that, and Vince could take it. Basically.
That's essentially what it came down to. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was also a budget thing, but at the same time, he was.
How was it a budget thing?
But let me finish this. But I was just about to say, but at the same time, how much he was making back in merch would have easily, it would put him in the black instantly, so it wasn't even a red issue.
What?
Talking, man, like, he just debuted on TV, hey, sorry, you're gone now. Yeah, we already talked about Rampage.
Yeah, Rampage was a good start. Second week, they had a lot to live up to. They put that Dynamite, the first absolute banger of a show on Rampage with the 3 title matches. And then this week, they had CM Punk. Next week's just gonna be like,
Well, it's the go home show.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you're gonna get, honestly, the Rampage, with Rampage right now, you've only had the 2. Next one's gonna be your go home show, and the next one after that's gonna be your post all out show. It's really where it's gonna be in 3 to 4 months, maybe even 6 months from now, how Rampage is really gonna be. You know, because like, it's just kinda like with Dynamite, you know, when it debuted here in DC, it came on fire, you know, with the title match and, you know, the 6-man tag at the end, to the main event. But then as time went on, and they kept doing, you know, gang warfare between, the Elite and the Inner Circle every week.
You mean like they're doing with the Pinnacle now?
Yeah, exactly. They just don't learn. But,
You know what? I would have given anything for last night when Cole personality hit for NJF to walk out. They
but
it was so good.
But the thing is, though, is that within about 6 months of being on the show, and yeah, the pandemic kind of screwed it up a bit too, but you kind of got an idea of what Dynamite was going to be moving forward. But now also at the same time, because now we're going back on the road, you know, who's going to be at the September 11th show in DC at Capital One Arena? Just a quick show of hands. Okay, some people are going to be there. We'll be there.
If there's ever even a roster left.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, is that like now they're also kind of in a reboot mode in a way, because now they're going back in front of crowds again, so they're getting that feel, they're getting that adrenaline kick back of being in front of a crowd.
I think big more crowds come back.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do a little bit too, but at the same time, a lot of the wrestlers wanted to definitely be back on the road.
Right, but the same thing is like during the crowdless eras, they could put a lot more nuance and stuff into promos, not get drowned
you watch Impact?
Say that again?
How do you watch Impact? Is it on YouTube or?
There's a number of ways you can do it. They air on ASX TV, if you have that on your cable box. If not, they used to air on Twitch live for free. They don't do that anymore. What they do now instead is they have like a 99-cent like join feed on their YouTube channel, and they stream it through their YouTube channel. But it starts like half an hour later. It starts at 8:30 rather than 8. But then it runs straight through with no commercials. So I watch it like
That's probably why they do it a half hour later, because of the commercial, the lack of commercials.
And they upload for free the next day.
and then they upload them the next day. Well, the on the YouTube archive, they go live at the time the show ends. They upload it to Impact Plus the next day. But the YouTube memberships right now do everything Impact Plus does.
You said that.
You can watch them at 10 o'clock on Impact Plus for free.
Is it 10 o'clock?
Yeah, and it's completely free.
How do you feel about AEW?
I honestly haven't seen enough MLW to talk about it, to be honest. But I'm all for making more moves. Anything that gets more eyes on wrestling is diversified the talent pool, so you go watch more things in more places, bring it on.
Yeah, speaking of Impact, Switchblade Jay White, I just saw one of his posts last night on Instagram, talking about staying with Chicago. Do you think that, you know, he's currently with the Never Openweight Championship in New Japan and at Impact, do you think we could be seeing him in AEW at some point?
For the crossover with Impact for the EV,
I think you might see him show up on that here, dude. Because I mean, like, Hikuleo was just there.
Yeah.
And he's now doing stuff with Impact.
You guys can say dirty words now, like.
Well, we weren't gonna say it. I just wanted to make sure.
but, oh, and apparently Moxley may not be getting his match with Tanahashi now. Yeah, I was reading that this morning. Apparently there's some issues, and I think it's on the New Japan side. So the match is gonna happen, it just may not happen at all out now, so.
I mean, it can because Tanahashi's facing Kota Ibushi at the MetLife Dome that same day, so.
Yeah, yeah, that might have been what it was, the scheduling conflict by New Japan, so. But they said that they definitely want to do Tanahashi versus Moxley, which is Moxley's dream match.
Wanted to do that.
So maybe they move that to Full Gear.
Let's have the floor over to you guys. What do you guys want to talk about?
There was a segment on Raw for a while called Raw Underground.
Yeah.
I was wondering what did y'all think about that, but I wish they would bring that back.
It was cool, like, in the beginning, but I wish they actually would have used it a little bit better to maybe, because I know they're trying to develop who's now commander of Fees. Yes, but like, they're supposed to use that to develop him originally. I actually would, yeah, and I kind of wish that I understand because there was an actual COVID outbreak that pretty much killed it, but.
Everybody hating it killed it.
But, if they were to really use it to like develop people, like I know Jessica Duke was supposed to be someone that they're supposed to really develop through Raw Underground. And like if they actually had gone through that, it probably would have been really good, maybe, but it was what it was.
I think
It should have been its own separate thing from Raw.
I think more underground, well, honestly, has potential.
Yeah. It did, so they put. Oh, it did.
Huh?
Once they introduced people like Braun into it,
Yeah.
that's when they killed it.
What they should have done with Raw Underground, right, is make it the last hour of Raw and give it its own internal storylines, right, and just book it like a wrestling show, right? Like, I don't know, select like 15 fighters that are on the bubble of getting like fired. Just have those 15, and it becomes like a league, and at the end, like the person at the top gets to keep gets promoted up, the person at the bottom gets fired, whatever. Like you could actually make like an internal system, like plot with it.
Although
Shane McMahon away from it.
Although I'm not gonna lie, there was one real bright spot that I really liked, and they kind of fumbled the ball with it, was when the Hurt Business got involved.
Don't start being hurt business.
Oh,
What a waste of potential.
Yeah.
Who loved the Hurt Business in here? Oh, yes. Oh, the Hurt Business.
That business was amazing.
Yeah, they definitely killed that way too fast. But you were actually saying something.
Yeah, what do you think of, how do you think, Malachi Black is not even around?
I think he's gonna keep murdering people.
I think, like, I know I made the statement about with Cody, where when Cody comes back, he's just gonna bury Malachi Black. But the thing is, and let's be honest, pretty much everyone he has wrestled, because he did beat Brody Lee to take the title back. You know?
Part of that was because Brody was going healthily.
Yeah, but well, we didn't know that at the time, to be honest. But like Sean Spears, look what happened to him. Look what happened. Like, I mean, now he's in the pinnacle. MJF, I mean, he lost to MJF and he took it. He's the only one that did not flounder after going through a feud with Cody Rhodes.
I think he just wants to book his territory like he's his old man.
Yeah, and like he should never have beaten Lance Archer.
He shouldn't have beaten Lance Archer.
TNT title.
I would agree that he shouldn't be the first person to hold the title.
But he shouldn't have been.
Shouldn't have been his last title.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have beaten Anthony Ogogo. He should not have beaten Anthony Ogogo, I'm sorry. And I'm not just saying that because Anthony Ogogo is British. I'm saying it because leading up to that match, Anthony Ogogo was literally one punch man to every person he'd been in the ring with. He and Sean Spears should have a much longer feud. Should have just got one and done. Cody's booking in AEW confused the hell out of me.
Yeah, but like for Malachi Black, if he can get away from Cody unscathed after Cody comes back, the sky's the limit for him. It really is. I love Aleister Black. I'm gonna love, yeah. But like,
Mary Beth Squad.
Yeah.
so like, I think the sky's the limit for Malachi Black if he can get away from Cody unscathed.
Gentlemen, back.
Jonathan, buddy.
What's going on, fellas? Your thoughts on Big E having a successful cash-in?
Well, he's got to get the briefcase back to Baron Corbin.
Eventually, because they can keep that going.
So I think what's gonna happen is I really do think we may see a situation, I think it's gonna be in the Bobby Lashley Goldberg's side of things, not in the Roman John Cena side. Corbin is going to try to cash in that Money in the Bank. And I can
Well, we
see.
know from previous experience of Money in the Bank contracts that they're only legally binding to the person who wants Money in the Bank.
Well, let's be honest here, we were supposed to get Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns, and then John Cena just took Sharpie and wrote John.
They changed the rules as they want.
A, yes, that was stupid. But B, that wasn't a structured contract the way the Money in the Bank is structured. But if it was down to me, give Big E every title belt in the Federation.
Oh, wait.
All at once. And just watch him gyrate the hell out.
With deep down inside, I do believe that he will have a successful
Make
cash
him
in.
into a big hulu.
Real quick, because I want to give Jonathan a serious answer on this. I 100% believe that Big E will get a successful cash in. I believe it's going to happen to the WWE title, so he ends up on Raw, and you're going to essentially see the New Day do their whole thing again with the title, but maybe we may have that extra wrinkle this time because Kofi does want that.
I'm moving on to the question after that. Let's say Baron Corbin does cash in and loses.
That'd be the third time.
What's the third?
Hang on. Big E wins the Royal Rumble and beats Roman at WrestleMania.
But why wait that long?
Honestly,
If you're gonna have Corbin cash in and lose a third time,
Yeah.
second time.
He is the captain of Unlocked right now. He even lost his right to beg.
I mean,
No, but here's the thing, and then we're gonna move on.
But if they want to get Big E a title reign.
But here's the thing, and we'll move on from this. I actually want to see Baron Corbin win it because that would create some more chaos. But anyways, you've had your hand up for a little bit, and then I saw a few others.
I want to comment on that and then do a new question.
Go for it.
So comment, my wishful thinking is Biggie cashes in on Bobby, wins the title, now he's back on Raw. Bobby wants his belt back, but he's outnumbered. So to take on the New Day, he has to reform the Hurt Business. To take on the New Day.
I like that.
Yes.
But, so we've been seeing all this like interpromotional stuff between like AEW, Impact, WWA. I just kind of want to just get everybody's feelings, like pros and cons, what you like about it, or what you don't like about it, anything you've been hoping for that hasn't happened.
Pro, I like what it's doing for the wrestling industry because it's putting more eyes on other promotions and stuff like that. The con is that I do fear for like when they decide to stop doing it, what it could do to Impact in particular, because like we had said earlier, like on that very first episode that Kenny Omega appeared on after he won the AEW title, all the comments on the Twitch stream was only about Kenny Omega. They didn't care about anything that Impact was putting out there. So that's the one concern that I legitimately have. Could they still maybe retain some of those eyes? Maybe, but will it be all of them? Probably not. And that's the thing that I kind of worry about.
For me,
I know like Andrade together, that would be awesome.
for me, while I very much enjoyed the Forbidden Door thing, I would like to see more of it. Like I'd like to see Britt Baker and Deonna Purrazzo go at it. Like put those two in a ring and just give them 20 minutes.
They wanted it at NWA Power, but then they went a different route.
And then I'd love to see like someone put Josh Alexander and Kenny Omega in the ring together. Oh my god. Anyway, the cons for me is literally every different company has a different recording schedule, right? So you know how Kenny did the mustache thing, and he's had like the Triple H thing, and you watch him on Impact, because Impact tapes like 2 months into 2 days. He didn't have the mustache yet. So you'd be watching Dynamite on Wednesday, and then on Thursday he didn't have the mustache again. And it was just like, amazing. I'd like to see a lot more. And it showed a little bit with the Christian thing, a bit more continuity there, but I would love to see more of the Forbidden Door.
Except for last night, because I watched Christian on Emergence on the Impact Plus stuff and he was on Rampage.
Right, but the reason for that is Rampage and Emergence were taped days apart. Literal days. Emergence was taped the middle of last week.
And then Rampage was live last night. So
My one big con personally is I wanted to see more crossover between women of Impact and AEW specifically. That's the part I was looking for the most when it started, and it's like no.
Someone put Deonna Purrazzo in a ring with Serena Deeb. If you guys haven't seen Serena Deeb wrestle, she's not just the lady from the Straight Edge Society anymore. She's one of the best wrestlers on the planet.
She's also you over there.
I don't want to, you brought up the Strand Society again, that's probably not happening, but what about like Keith Lee's supposed illness, post-COVID, and then he's all people like 6
he
months
really
now, they're
had
dropping
it.
him?
Like there's no air quotes to his thing at all.
He contracted COVID at the beginning of the year. He went through COVID and recovered. And as a result of COVID, he ended up with an enlarged heart, which the WWE helped him work through with doctors and rehab. And as soon as it was safe, he returned to it.
Why are they just like dropping him?
Because the WWE don't know what they're doing.
Actually, no, they actually pulled him off TV. They're actually now having him do dark matches because they're trying to refine him a little bit. Because well, for one, he hadn't been wrestling for a few months because of the COVID issue.
Right, sure, there's been some ring rust.
Yeah, there's ring rust. So
Yeah.
him doing his return was a big deal, but at the same time, right now they're having him do dark matches. They're getting him to get some of that refinement back into his thing, so they can also go, okay, now we can really.
You can answer literally any question as to why blank happens in the WWE with because Vince McMahon.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
He's a big
Why?
man.
How did
That's a big man.
you fumble calling up Tyler Breeze? Because Vince McMahon. How did you fumble like any other number of things? Vince McMahon. Like 90% of NXT call-ups
Vince
just
McMahon.
want things to go away again. In the back.
I guess, what do y'all think can happen when Vince either steps down or dies?
Right. First things first. Vince isn't leaving gorilla position unless he's in a pine box. Otherwise, he'd have done so by now. Two, I genuinely hope Triple H takes over.
I definitely think that the day that Vince does step away, however he does, that he goes to Stephanie and Triple H.
We know that that's the plan because people in the WWE in places of power are trying to undercut Triple H, blaming him for losing the Wednesday Night Raw because they don't want him to be the one that takes over because he'll fire them. John Laurinaitis, Kevin Dunn, Bruce Pritchard. It can't.
Basically all the ass kissing yes.
Basically all the yes men.
You know, it's like, it's kind of coming back to like what CM Punk said on that pipe bomb 10 years ago. Like, even though he went after Triple H in that promo, Triple H is going to be the best thing to ever happen to WWE.
I wouldn't say ever that point.
Not ever, but just okay. From here to
Moving forward.
It's the best thing that can happen.
Post Attitude Era.
Is for someone else to get complete creative control.
And Triple H has proven that he can do it.
When do you see Father coming in and Franco Bordeaux and Rick Steiner? I know they're security on NXT.
As for Scarlett, I don't know why she's not with her.
She's hurt.
Is she?
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually why she hasn't been doing any of the main roster stuff because she's actually not.
Well, she wasn't even on NXT this week.
Well, because she's not med.
That we never see some carrying across.
What happened to Rick Steiner's son?
So.
He was on NXT as security guard.
I know he's one of the zombies that injured the Miz.
Like anything, like anyone who's been signed, when are they showing up? I don't know. They're probably still in the performance center.
Yeah.
I couldn't give you an absolute reason.
Yeah, we don't know all of those type of things.
I wish I had that much information. I wish I had that kind of backstage pull. Push. Hello. The hurricane. And basically Mickey.
With my only con from the Forbidden Door being open is I haven't seen, like, the main thing is the Bullet Club, maybe
I don't think they want to come. Because here's the thing, with the Forbidden Door being open, like Tama Tonga, he wants Roman Reigns. He doesn't want Kenny Omega.
You said you watched it, Pat, right?
Yeah, I watched it.
Right. So there was a really cool promo with Switchblade Jay White and the Good Brothers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Where Jay White was basically like, you're not in Bullet Club anymore. You're the elite now. Go do the elite. We're Bullet Club. And I think there will be something to that eventually. I just don't think it needs to be right now. Because anyone who doesn't, like, it's, if you remember years ago, they did the whole Bullet Club is fine with Kenny and Cody, right? That is very close to the same thing with Jay White and Kenny leading his Super Elite. We do know that the Good Brothers are set to fight GOD in New Japan. Probably.
But I also think that there are probably certain ones that, like, and it'd be kind of stupid not to want to be a part of it, but there probably are some wrestlers who don't want to be a part of it, or maybe even the bookers don't want to be a part of it because they have their own storylines that they want them to be involved in and not get intertwined with the other stuff.
Also, I wouldn't start anything right now that has the word Bullet Club involved in it until we know what's happening with that call. Plain and simple. Yeah. I'm really super chuffed with Chris Bay. Got a Love me some Chris Bay. Another member of the X Division. He's so good. But yeah, the Forbidden Door Bullet Club AEW thing. AEW's got enough stables on its own right now. It's got like the 27-man Hardy stable. Seriously, there's like 27 people in that stable. There's like the Butcher, the Bunny, the Blade, both members of TH2, Private Party, Matt Hardy. Like that's 8 people alone, right?
Yeah, the new guy is like from India that they put in a, yeah, but I think he's just like really new, but like.
So there's like 9 members of the Hardy family office, right?
And then you
They're
got
not
Dark
like-
Order.
But Dark Order's slightly different, right? Because they're not trying to, like, the Hardy family office, right? When one of them comes out, everybody's at ringside like, I can't actually see the wrestling because all the people on the outside won't stop moving. But like Dark Order, the thing that makes Dark Order brilliant, and I have to say, the single best story of wrestling over the last 2 years is Hangman. Holy hell, when they finally had Hangman and I made it in the ring together, I was just like, I want that to happen so bad.
You right there?
That will happen.
It will happen eventually. So, but Adam's on maternity leave right now.
So you and then you at the back.
Yeah, okay, speaking of the Dark Order, what would your reaction be if the newest leader happened to be Bray Wyatt?
They have openly commented that they do not want a new leader for Dark Order.
Yeah.
They've openly said the only person that could possibly be the new leader of Dark Order is in about 15 years, so it's -1.
Okay.
Other than that, where Dark Order is right now, where they're a bunch of friends or a family, is where Dark Order needs to be. If they try to take it back to the spooky dudes that follow like an undead vampire nightmare thing, it just won't work.
What if they
Dark
have,
Order is so good as they are.
what if they have like CM Punk join as the leader?
That's not gonna happen. That would defeat the entire purpose of that.
Be like a giant straight edge society.
That wouldn't work at all. You back there, bud.
Especially with the amount of substances that 10 months.
Why do you think McMahon wants to bring Adam Cole or keep him if he's just not going to use him? I mean, there's no way he's going to elevate.
Because he doesn't want Tony Khan to have.
He just doesn't want to lose, and that's.
I think Adam Cole is a very special case though. Because Vince actually, from the reports that we've seen, he took a liking to Adam Cole. He's obviously, like, Triple H has probably given tape on him and said, this guy could be your face.
He sees the merch numbers.
Yeah, like,
All you have, the reason he wants to keep Adam Cole, all you have to do is listen to any NXT takeover with the crowd when he leans down and he goes, Adam Cole, and everyone in the arena is like, baby! That's all you need to know.
Philadelphia, the Royal Rumble, when he was in it. I mean,
The reaction he got on SmackDown.
Yeah.
You don't need to know anything else. He can pop a crowd.
Yeah, and that's the thing that Vince likes out of guys who can get that.
And he's an absolute savage on the microphone.
Yeah.
That promo he cut on Karrion Kross, where he's like, they've given you everything where you need to be special. You need the lights, the girl, the music, the blood. All they need to do to make me feel special is ring the damn bell. And you're just like, yeah, I agree.
So.
Gentleman in the back had his hand up.
Yeah, I'll let you know, like, all the recent releases, WWE have made, like, how likely we think, like, there'll be, like, the business of the company sometime in a couple of years.
We answered that earlier, but to answer it again, we don't think. They'll listen to offers, but I don't see Vince McMahon ever selling his company.
They openly always said they're always open to listening to offers, whether they accept any of them. Hopefully, things can go away.
It would have to be a ridiculous offer.
So actually, speaking about selling things, how y'all liking Peacock?
No.
You're the only one that's going like this, but she's laughing, doing the giggle, going like, yeah,
It's so bad.
it's gonna be something like that.
Well, yeah.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
I have Xfinity, I have Xfinity.
So do I.
Right? And I tried to tune into the WWE network and I don't have to be the
Oh, no, it's completely free.
They didn't say it depends on your package. Because I have
It might be your Xfinity package.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So depending on your
I don't have the super cheap package, so.
So I think if you actually have that triple play package, they actually give you Peacock for free.
The only thing I actually use Xfinity for is the internet. So.
But I just wanted to get the Peacock thing.
So, just, I don't want to sound like a pluggy, but since we started doing this podcast, doing this panel, we've also developed a podcast called AwesomeMania. And recently, the format has changed. We don't have as much time for wrestling as we would like. And it's turned into basically us doing a riff transfer of wrestling, we'll watch a show, and we'll commentate on it as we're watching it. Society can watch alongside the show. And if you've ever tried to search a pay-per-view and a specific year on Peacock, why can't they just number SummerSlam 1996? Why do I have to go SummerSlam Season 7 in 1996?
Yeah, like I loved how the WWE Network was originally set up because they actually had all the pay-per-views set up by year. You just searched by year for pay-per-views and watch them in order that they came out in. It was so nice. And guess what? Peacock also failed on? What was supposed to be completely available on Peacock right now? Everything on the network, and not everything is. And we're also getting booted out of the pay-per-view feeds live about 4 to 5 times per pay-per-view at the same time.
I just happened, it's like big.
Yeah. So did I. I mean, I was pissed when that happened.
Even stuff as simple as tonight, while many of us are here, if we're not back in our hotel rooms in time, we're not gonna be able to start from the beginning, we gotta start from when it is. Those little things.
Everything that Peacock promised that they were gonna give us by now, today, because they said SummerSlam was the day that they're gonna have everything available and kind of reset the way it was, not happening. And if anyone listens to AwesomeMania, the podcast, and have listened to us do the watch-alongs, we have to stop for Peacock breaks.
They put commercial breaks after every match. Even in like pay-per-views from like the 90s.
So we actually.
And the best thing is if you're watching it with a friend and you're both streaming on your own Peacock accounts, your adverts might be different lengths. Like mine might be 45 seconds, Mike's might be 30 seconds, our friend Matt had a 15-second one once. It's just like.
Yeah, it's not fun. But also, since we're talking about the podcast, our SummerSlam 96 episode just came out this past Wednesday. So if you want to do a watch along and watch the pay-per-view and listen to us riff, that's our latest episode.
Is that 1996 or season 9 episode?
Yeah. You know what?
Actually, yes.
Actually, no, because of that, then we gotta start doing that on the show now.
No. I will not give in to Peacock's ways. You will not beat me, NBC. Anything else that wants to crop up on?
You had your hand up.
Yeah, what is your favorite Dark Side of the Ring episode? Just wondering.
I haven't watched.
To be honest, I haven't watched any yet. I do have the series saved under my favorites on Hulu. I just haven't really had time to sit down and watch those or any of the WWE.
I watched all the AEW shows. But I didn't watch any of those.
Right.
All right, hey, I got another question from Twitch here. Who should beat Shingo Takagi for the IWGP World Championship?
Okay, real quick. What's the Twitch handle on that?
JGulls15.
First off, hi Jared. How
Hi,
you doing,
Jared.
buddy? And Jared was actually the individual who did the SummerSlam 96 episode.
Who should beat Takagi for the IWGP Championship? Will Ospreay.
Okay.
Because Will shouldn't have lost it in the first place. Plus, we know that Danielson really wants to wrestle with Ospreay. Danielson Ospreay for the IWGP belt sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. I'm 100% okay with that.
Or this guy in the front row. He can beat Shingo. Yeah,
Yeah, I actually, I don't watch Dynamite Live, but, I saw that on Facebook the next day, and I was watching that, I was like, that's badass. That was really, and the fact that, like, the build up to it, AEW's Twitter is like posting out the lyrics to Judas, and MJF is responding to like, these tweets need to be deleted, he's like, report these tweets, and like, I really liked what they did with that, although,
Glad they let MJF win.
No.
I love MJF. I love MJF so much.
I actually got to work with MJF when I was with MCW Pro Wrestling, when he did Shamrock. And he's one of those guys, just doing the interviews.
Just
for
gets it.
Yeah, he really does. He gets it so well, and he knows how to do the character so well. And honestly, he's one of my favorite people that I ever worked with in MCW, besides Dante Caballero and Ken Dixon and RJ Myers producer. So those are some of my favorite people to work with in MCW, and MJF is like by far he was just so
The fact that MJF hasn't won so over AEW gets present.
And the scary thing is that he's kind of like Piper. He doesn't need the title. That's the thing.
You know who else is criminal that has won so yet? Santana.
Yeah.
Oh.
You just got to put your tag. Yeah.
They're not even tag team.
They're not even, I literally tweeted out. Any tag team eliminated without Santana and Ortiz in it is a joke. They are the best team in AEW. Just stick those four in the ring and let go. LAX against the OGs. I think Santana and Ortiz they're so underrated. Their promo game, that promo that they cut on the Young Bucks when they were feuding, and they powerbomb Matt into the circle, they spray over the floor, and they just come backstage, and it was such a good promo.
You ever see their match with the Rock and Roll Express?
Yeah.
It's so good. I remember Full Gear.
Yeah. I popped so hard when they beat the Young Bucks, man. Anything else? Yeah.
And what potential matchups are you most looking forward to in the next year or so?
I think they might try to keep him away for a while. But, you know, it's
how forbidden door can we go?
Realistically, so I was thinking like Big E Roman.
I'd love to see Big E Roman.
You already said Hangman Omega, right?
I mean, everyone's waiting to Hangman Omega.
Man, that's a tough one. Because it's like, I mean, you also like WWE don't know who's still gonna be around.
This might be a weird one. Stick with me. CM Punk against Dante Martin. I think that would be a really good match.
Well, it's kind of interesting because with CM Punk, he said in his promo last night that he's got a lot of unfinished business to take care of. And unfortunately, like when you hear him say something like that, you're automatically thinking Colt Cabana. Well, Colt Cabana is one. Christian, WWE, Mark Henry, WWE, Cody Rhodes, WWE. Like he's gonna probably target a lot of WWE, former WWE guys.
John Moxley.
CM Punk and Jungle Boy? Ooh,
Yeah.
Put that in my names.
Did he and Malachi Black ever fight before WWE? Or?
No, Malachi
That's a
Black
good.
was
I think
after.
that's a good matchup.
No, Malachi Black was after Punk had already left.
Okay.
But that actually right there, CM Punk versus Malachi Black would be really.
I think we're a little ways away from it happening, but I think.
Oh yeah, no, definitely a little ways away from that one happening, but I think when the stars align, we could get a really good match out of this.
Every time you say stars align, my brain starts singing the main thing.
Still
I'll be gone for a while.
So, one answer to any question. So, after watching Rampage the other night, I
Put Josh in what Alexander agree with literally everybody.
But, I think the big issue AEW is gonna win, I feel like their roster is way too crowded. They got like 3 hours of TV and like they got 102 wrestlers now. And there's rumors about people saying, you're trying to get
If you remember, you've got to include 3 hours that is dark and 2 hours of dark elevation.
Yeah, does anybody actually watch that?
Yeah.
The whole thing, I watched just the women's match, because I turned off. It's just like a bunch of nobody takes long.
Just out of curiosity, how many people here watch Mania Elite? Okay.
And I did only for Hangman Page.
Now, and of course, all of you watch Dynamite.
Like, too much of AEW storytelling takes place not on television.
The question I was gonna ask is, who gets lost in the shuffle? I feel like
A lot of
big talent they have, there just is not enough time to use all of them to their fullest extent. Like, I already think Andrade is getting.
Here's the thing, don't be surprised, in maybe a year or two, AEW maybe goes into a purge mode like WWE does now. But here's the thing though, and this is something that AEW fans have to remember. You wanna be critical of WWE doing this, you've gotta be just as critical in AEW for doing it too. Because at this point in a way, you can say, yeah, AEW is just hoarding up all the guys that got released from WWE at this point now. Because not a lot of them are going to Impact.
A match I would like to see, sorry, I'm sorry, a match I would like to see that probably will never happen, are my boys, the Grizzled Young Veterans, against the Revival. That match would slap. I can't say the word I really want to say. Beating their big battle.
Honestly, I'd like to just see the Grizzled Young Vets. I mean, I know it's overexposed, but I would love to see them. I think that would be a really good matchup. The Young Vets versus Usos.
So, this might be a tad bit controversial, so.
Controversy here at this panel? Oh,
you have a great cash.
So, when I was in high school, there was a guy I went to high school with, he really talked about going to be WWE. He did make it WWE, he made it all the way up to NXT, but he got fired. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I knew Patrick Clark back in high school.
Oh, okay.
Velveteen Dream.
So, funny thing, when we were doing the old NBM wrestling podcast, we were supposed to interview Patrick Clark, and the weekend I was supposed to conduct an interview with him was when he signed with WWE. And
What's your point about the old dream?
I guess my point is one of his earliest gimmicks was being like a sort of like right wing type of person.
Yes.
And what the guy thought about was when I knew him, he's always been like that. Like he's always been the whole cocky shit he does. That he's always been like that. That was one thing that was interesting.
Did you say the best wrestling is you turned up to 11?
Yeah. Yeah, that's one. Do you think he has any more future in wrestling, or do you think he's done for good?
Never say never.
James Ellsworth still gets booked.
James Ellsworth is a completely different. It's like that's like an apples and oranges thing.
Let's put it this way.
I don't know. James Ellsworth was pretty creepy backstage. I mean, the stories about him and kind of what he was doing with women.
Right, he's not convicted of anything. They still use Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Do you think Marty is done? Marty Scurll?
Again, this would be another one of those things that never say never. Personally, I used to love Mike Scurll. He was my favorite wrestler. I used to know him pretty well because he did do my podcast. And I was very disappointed in him. Would I like to see him wrestle again? Of course I would. But I also don't want the community
Jim Cornette's.
I have a lot of words to say about Jim Cornette, none of which I can say in a PG-13 panel.
I honestly follow Jim Cornette just for the laughs because that's what his Twitter account is.
He is a racist, misogynist piece of crap. He was stuck 20 years ago. Plain and simple. And the fact that his word still carries sway in wrestling sickens me. Absolutely sickens me. I used to love Jim Cornette when he was a part of when he was a manager and I remember Midnight Express. I used to love the Midnight Express. I loved Jim Cornette. And then he opened his mouth.
And I can say this because I actually got, from MCW. He was nice and respectful to me, but the thing is, and him and I have talked about this a couple times. The biggest problem with Jim Cornette is that he can't get out of the past. When the wrestling business evolved and it continued to evolve and adapt to the times, he didn't. And that's the number one problem with Jim Cornette. He still is stuck with those sexist, misogynist, bigoted views of back in those days. And he just can't accept that the business pretty much left him behind. So, and that's how I just see it, to be honest. Any other questions?
I think you also have to bear in mind that a lot of Jim Cornette's bluster and bravado is so that people don't stop paying attention to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense because and here's the thing, it's like we see it all the time. Who are the ones that the people pay attention to the most? The loudest. The loud ones that are always causing trouble are always the ones that people pay attention to. Just at some point, you just gotta tune them out. I'm just getting awkward with science, so we're gonna go right to the
Alright, let's start a lightning move here. I'm like 99% sure Kenny's getting the Impact title back. I'm convinced that All Out is gonna be title for title, is gonna be Christian and get him back. And he'll have all the belts again. So, assuming that happens, who do you see from Impact being the guy that finally actually beats it and takes the belt?
I honestly don't see Christian losing the Impact title. I think they need to keep that title away from Omega.
If Christian loses, he's losing to someone in Impact.
Yeah.
Who would you pick to be the person? Whether it's Christian or Omega, who would you pick to be the guy who brings the belt home for Impact?
I think it's Christian. He's already done it, and I think he's
not on Impact. He's not on Impact.
But the thing is, though, is that he's the one that's gonna give it, essentially get it onto an Impact star. I don't see Kenny doing it.
So who's gonna be that star?
Cannot be incredibly controversial. Ace Austin.
He faces him, he's won a match tonight to face,
Ace Austin deserves every accolade we can give him. He's an absolute star in the making. And he's always said he wants to be the youngest Impact World Champion. I would love to see the Ace Austin. If it's not Ace Austin, Chris Sabin. I'd go for another world title one for Chris Sabin. Pete Williams. Bring on Pete Williams to get the title before he retires.
What about Moose?
Moose doesn't need the title. I don't think. Who else?
What about Sammy
I think
Callahan?
Moose is like the most incredible.
Again, Sammy Callahan doesn't need the title. Doesn't need the title. So, the whole storyline about the title going away from Impact is so that when the person brings it back to Impact, it makes that person, right? It's like the person who broke the Undertaker streak should have been a person that was needed the Rock, right? Not Brock Lesnar. Wow, that's an excellent question.
What about that? This could be controversial. How about Chris Bay?
let's get the X Division title back on him first. I would love it to see Josh Alexander cash in option C. That would be a great thing for me. Because I'm a huge Josh Alexander fan. If I could absolutely fantasy pocket though, it would be Bobby Roode. Like Bobby Roode comes back to Impact and they reform Team Canada. And just put Josh Alexander in there because he's Canadian. Just be like, yeah, we own everything. But no, ASOS would be my preferred call.
I'm unfortunately not as familiar as the impact roster as so I take his word for it. I trust Ben on a lot of things when it comes to wrestling.
Idiot. So before we start wrapping up,
You've had your hand up. We good. Okay. I just want to make sure that everyone got to say what they wanted to say.
who has Twitter on their phone? I'm going to ask you all to do me a favour. I have been posting every single day since the last WWE Hall of Fame ceremony in order to put William Regal in the WWE Hall of Fame because he is beyond deserving. I've been posting every day. I'm on day 134, and I'm just sending a post right now about it. If you guys would do me the favor of getting your phones out, opening up Twitter.
And the Twitter handle for this fine gentleman over here is @BobTGoldfish.
Yep.
@BobTGoldfish.
Yep. Or you can look up the hashtag Regal4, that's the number 4, WWE HOF.
I just love how everyone's like really down on Twitter.
Tell me he doesn't deserve it.
Absolutely.
He'll be there.
He's a man.
But I wanted to be there now.
Such a man.
I've got very hello. Probably be that. I've got a very soft spot in my heart for William Regal because I was 5 years old and it's what got me into wrestling. It was like 1983 and my dad, he was like, come on, we're going to the Guildhall to watch the wrestling. They come through once every other month. And I remember being 5 years old and I thought, how's wrestling? And Dad bought us front row seats. Yeah, they put a 5 row in the front row, that was a good idea. And I was absolutely enthralled the whole night. And I can remember it as vividly as anything. The main event was William Regal and Steve Regal against Dave Finlay in an hour-long draw where all they did was turn each other into pretzels. And it was so good. And from that moment on, I've been an absolute die-hard wrestling fan. And that was a long time ago.
83.
83,
That was 2 years before my parents were married.
Shut up. Every time you say me, it makes me feel incredibly old.
Well, we do our next panel.
No.
One of our panelists is going to make me feel old.
No, we don't get to talk about it. Anyway, I do appreciate everyone.
Your phone is just like blowing up now.
Yeah, I've got like, interesting.
When we're done streaming our panels live on Twitch, I'll
We'll,
retweet it and like it like I always do.
So how long we got left?
Literally like 5 minutes.
5 minutes. So one last thing I want to say before we do our closeout, okay? And I say this on every panel I'm in. Stand up, man in the red shirt. That is what an awesome con volunteer looks like. Everyone say hello to the volunteer.
Hello. Howdy.
There are hundreds of people volunteering their time this weekend so we can hang out, have a good time, and enjoy ourselves. It is an absolutely thankless job. They get asked to do all kinds of nonsense. They get asked the stupidest questions, mostly by me. And they are absolutely not paid for it. please, 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 if at some point you get the opportunity, turn around to a red shirt and just say thank you. Because they are leaving their weekend on the table so we can do this. Alright? And nobody ever says thank you to the volunteers. And they PG-13, right? I get one swear word.
You get one as fun, one as fun. We usually don't use that fun.
They effing deserve it. Thank you very much. We'll do a quick roundup now.
Alright, so real quick, you can find me on Twitter at TheLindenBomb75, on Facebook at facebook.com/X75Productions, Twitch doing the gaming, and I actually do now Wrestle Wednesdays, where I'm actually playing old school PS1 wrestling games. I'm actually about to start SmackDown 2, and you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/MichaelX75, and my website is txhdhockey.com, and for our podcast, txhdhockey.com/AwesomeMania.
Sorry, man. The best wrestling is pro wrestling. Sorry.
As for me,
a remake of that game in like 30 years.
As for me, I would have told you where you can find me on Twitter at BobTGoldfish. You can find me doing a bunch of other stuff on Mike's website, NJPW.com. Mainly the sister show, AwesomeMania, Voices from the Real, which is a Power Rangers panel, Power Rangers show, which we will be hosting a panel for in this room right after this one. And you can find us doing the Twitch thing, twitch.tv/331_TV. And now, time for the outro. It is sad to see us all go, but it's been nice to be in a room together talking about the raps. Let me say, just quickly, if you like flippy people wrestling, good for you. If you like big hosses slapping the hell out of each other, good for you. Just don't judge what other people like. Let people enjoy the wrestling. And on that note, I'll close by saying, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, in the words of the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, be excellent to each other. Party on, Pacific Honorifics. Thank you, everybody. Now, if you read about Power Rangers, stick around. The new Power Rangers is about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And thank the volunteers.
What's your least favorite game in the Power Rangers?
Least favorite season? Operation.